Hey guys, welcome back if you're new. This is another addition to my Polaroid series. I think I've done 4. I think this is the 4th one, and all the other Polaroid videos will be in the description. And here I'm using 300 GSM hot pressed watercolor paper, and I will be using gouache paints for this. Just remember, you can use watercolor as well, but I'm pretty new to using gouache paints, so I wanted to give them a try. For this one, I decided to go with a floral aesthetic theme because I've been seeing these kind of paintings all over my Instagram feed lately, so I thought I would do a Polaroid version of those paintings. A lot of you have been asking me the measurements. You can see that I don't really measure the paper. I just go in with the washi tape and kind of lay them side to side, so it's kind of similar. But here's a rough measurement after I taped all these, just in case you want the exact measurements. So since I'm going with a floral theme, I'm using these colors. Now I only have 2 shades of greens here, so I have to kind of mix and match everything to get the shades that I want. So for the first and the last one, I wanted like a sky background. So I'm mixing the blue and a lot of white to make a sky blue color, and I'm covering the whole paper with it. And for the third one, I'm adding just a little bit more water so that the paint is a little bit more transparent, and I'm covering the whole paper for this one as well. Now for the third one, I also wanted to add subtle white clouds so that it's just not a plain blue background. So that is what I'm doing with this round brush. I think this is number 3 or number 2 round brush. Now for the second one, I didn't really have a plan, but I wanted more greens in this one. So while I was deciding what to paint, I just decided to paint a rough background for now. So I'm just mixing what I think different shades of green for this, and I just covered the whole paper with it. Now I'm going back to my first painting, and I'm just adding branches coming from the right side, and I mixed some burnt umber and some green for this to get this shade. And yeah, I'm just making some branches. Back to the second one, I wanted to add some texture to the background, so I'm just using different shades of greens and browns and making strokes to make this textured background. And this doesn't really matter because I will be covering this up anyway later, but this is just my painting process. So moving on to the third one, I'm painting stems and twigs. I wanted to make like flower bushes for this one, so I'm just making all the branches and the twigs and stuff, and I'm also painting some grass. Now that we have all our branches and stuff done, it's time to add the leaves to all of the paintings. So I'm just using different shades of greens, and I'm not using any particular colors because I'm just going with my brush and mixing all the different shades and just making leaves, as you can see. And you can just play around with all the different shades of greens to create the leaves because it just doesn't have to be perfect. So for the middle one, I finally decided to paint like a close-up of a rose bush kind of thing. So I'm just painting vines and leaves everywhere, and I just covered up the messy background with all of these leaves and stems and vines, and you can see there's so many different shades of greens here. Now that we're done with the leaves, let's move on to painting the flowers. So I have all these different shades of red. We have Carmine, Vermillion, and Primary Magenta. And I will be mixing all of these colors with a little bit white here and there in places for all the flowers. So starting with the first one, I'm using Carmine first to add blobs that kind of look like red roses. I guess that's what I was going for. And I just mix the same color with some white to add more details, and I just go in with straight white to add some more details. Now for the second one, I'm starting with Vermillion and trying to make rose-like shapes here and there, and I just add details by mixing a lighter shade of the same color, that is by mixing white, and I'm adding details to the rose. For this one, I also added Primary Magenta to add more pinky roses to the mix, and I really like that color combination. So I'm just finishing everything off by adding details to the leaves and some more greens here and there, and that's it. Now for the third one, I decided to go with simple purple flowers, and I'm just using 2 different shades of purple. So I think I'm done with all the paintings, so it's time to remove the tape. Now I'm just taking my koi metallic palette and adding gold detailing in some of the places. You don't really have to do this, but I just like adding little details like this to my Polaroids, so that's what I'm doing. Now, if you've seen all of my other Polaroid paintings, you know I always add little quotes to the bottom of my Polaroids. So I just wrote "No rain, no flowers" for this one. So for the second one, I wrote "Beautiful Chaos" because the process was pretty chaotic, but the result came out beautiful, I think. For this one, I just wrote "Carpe Diem." And this is how all of them turned out. I think this is one of my favorite Polaroid videos so far because the results are pretty amazing. I think these are the most aesthetic Polaroids that I've made so far. So thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye!